Hey, what's up, my friend? Welcome back to this week's market analysis, right? For those of you who are in Singapore or maybe Malaysia, I'm sure you can agree with me that the weather is killing, right? And the worst part is, right, my aircon broke down, and it's really hot right now. So maybe I'll just tick up my... Just kidding, right? So anyway, right, back to this week's market analysis, right? I want to walk you through perhaps, talk about the euro currency pair since recently we had the French election, and also walk you through and, tell you, right, how to go about trading parabolic move, right? So what is parabolic move, all right? A market goes parabolic when it basically shoots off like a rocket with little to no pullback, right? So for price action traders who always wait for a retest of, previous resistance turn support or previous support turn resistance, that move, hardly comes. So what can you do to get on board, such trades? So I will share all this and more with you in today's video. I'll see you there. Okay, right, so the first market we are looking at today is euro dollar, right? So I'll cover a couple of euro pairs today, the euro dollar and the euro yen, since this is the market that has been affected by fundamentals recently, right, from the French election, right? So let's have a look at it, right? So right, that the Macron, or yeah, I believe I pronounced his name correctly, Macron. If I pronounce it wrongly, please correct me, right? Basically, he won the election, and Monday through Thursday, we saw selling pressure across the board, right, from this high all the way to this low over here. Okay, so I think some of you may be puzzled on why this is the case. Why it's good news that he won, right? Because prior to that we had this gap up when he was actually leading the election, but when he really won the election, why did the market reverse back towards the downside, partially at least, right? So in my point of view is that the market is a forward-looking mechanism, right? So when he was leading the poll result and the market gapped higher, right, the market has already digested the piece of news that he would win the election, right? So when he really won the election, when the fact came out that he won the election, the market basically has, sold off a little bit, right? Basically, the market is, how do you put it? Traders who are long, right, are already, taking their profits, right? Because the fact that he would win the election has already been priced in this move over here, right, where the market gapped up. Okay, so when the fact came out, right, the market, it's not surprised to see the market, sell off a little bit from traders who are actually long in this move already. Okay, so this is why, you hear the saying, right, buy the rumor, sell the news. Okay, so this means, right, the market is forward looking and it tends to price in before the official news result is released, right? But not that aside, right, I'm basically a technical trader. I trade based on charts, right? But this is some piece of, I would say, information that you can use to judge, how strong or weak a currency pair is. Okay, and if you ask me, right, let's say Macron, he lost the election on the result, right, and Le Pen is the one that, who won the election. I won't be surprised that this move over here, right, can be erased all the way back down towards the downside, because the market expects him to win, and if he didn't win, right, this will be a shock to the market, and it's possible that you could get an entire reversal back towards the downside, right? But then all this is just based on my own speculation, right, what could potentially happen. But let's move on to trading, right, and to trade what you see and not what you think, right? So what I'm seeing right now is that the market is still looking bullish, right? It has basically closed above the 200 period moving average, right? And it has actually retested back towards this previous resistance turn support. Okay, so I'm bullish on this euro dollar, all right? And for traders who want to get long on this market, right, say you also have a bullish view, right, maybe based on fundamentals or whatever, right, a couple of ways to share with you, right? For a longer term position, you can actually go long on this close over here, okay, when the market close higher, right? Where would you put your stop loss, right? I usually put my stops, right, a buffer below key structure support resistance, right? Because if you put your stops just over here, it's very easy for the market to just sweep lower and then continue higher, right? If you think about this is an area of support, right? If the market comes into an area of support and you're cutting your trade into an area of support, what you're essentially doing is selling into support, right? And support is a potential area where the markets could bounce off. So selling into support, right, doesn't really make much of a sense. So if you ask me, right, a better place to put your stop loss is to give it some buffer from the support, right, and say, let's say somewhere over here. Right, here is where you put your stop loss. So you don't get, stopped out too quickly as the market comes back in and then, rallies higher. All right, so this is where you could go long your entry, and this is your stop loss. So this is a way to take on a longer term position trade on euro dollar. For shorter term swing traders, right, of course there's a way to express your opinion in the markets, but that won't be on the daily time frame. You need to go down to the lower time frame to find these setups. So what I'm looking at is on the 1 hour time frame, right? You can see that, let me zoom out a little. The market basically, right, came down lower into this, area of support over here. Okay, then it starts to consolidate where the buyers and sellers are in equilibrium, right? Why are they in equilibrium, right? Because it's quite simple, right? If they are not in equilibrium and the sellers are in control, you would expect to see lower prices, lower highs, lower lows. The fact that this market is in a range is telling you that there are buyers stepping in, right, to push price higher. Okay, so needless to say, right, how you would get long on this trade is that the market has already broke out of this resistance, right? So two possible setups that I'm seeing on this time frame is the market come back down and retest. So you got a previous resistance turn support setup over here, and you can look for an entry trigger to go long at this level. Alternatively, what could also happen is that the market starts to build up over here, right, and then it breaks out higher from this potential range, right? And then you can look to get long on the break of this highs over here in anticipation of higher prices. So if this is a short-term swing trade, right, then I would say this area over here is possible targets that you want to take profits off the table, right? Because that is where potential selling pressure could come in. Right, so this is a couple of trading setups for you on euro dollar. It really depends on what is your trading style, your trading approach, how long you want to hold a trade, and etc. Right, there is really no one size fit all. Right, so plan your trade, trade your plan. And moving on, right, let's talk about euro yen. Right, so I just want to be brief about this, right? So from the looks of it, euro yen has actually broke above this area of resistance. It's above the 200 period moving average. So I have a long bias. All right, so what I'm looking at is like that is the sellers are getting weak. Why is that? Because if you look at this area of resistance, right, the market is forming somewhat of a build up, meaning it's consolidating over here. So usually if a level is strong, right, you should expect a strong reaction pretty quickly, like this one over here. The market come into this area of support, poof, it rallies higher. Came into this area of support, boom, rallied higher, right? So now it came into this area of resistance, right, and it's still consolidating over here. And you can be sure that the longer it hovers at this level, it will attract more traders to short this market, right? I'm sure that, on this bearish candle, traders will look to short. This bearish engulfing, more traders will look to short. And where will they put their stop loss? Chances are they'll put it above this high, right? Because after all, that's what the textbook says, right? Put your stops above the highs, below the lows. So what happens is the market, starts to consolidate further, right? You can be sure that more stop orders will be, piling up above this highs over here. And if you ask me, right, to take a contrarian approach, right, going long on the break of this highs, right, is basically, hitting those stops and to fuel more buying pressure. So this is a potential setup, right, on euro yen, right, looking to see if it can, form a build up before breaking out towards the upside. So this is for euro yen, right? Not looking too bearish if you ask me, right? Since price is also above the 200 MA, my bias, right, is to be long. Okay, so this is another one to look for, the euro yen. And lastly, right, I just want to talk about the Nasdaq, right? It is, in my opinion, right now the strongest market out there. Right? If you look at the chart, it's pretty much gone parabolic. Now you can see what is parabolic. Parabolic means the move, right, is pretty much very one directional, right? A little to no pullback, right? And just like a rocket, right, taking off towards space, right? So this is a parabolic move. And here's the thing, right? A lot of price action traders, you trade off the daily time frame, right? They will struggle in this type of market condition because there is just no entry to get long, right? What do I mean by this, right? So I'm sure, right, many out there will be thinking, oh, okay, sure, right, I'm long, I'm bullish, it's an uptrend, I'll look for price to retest back this previous resistance turn support, right? And then I look for a bullish candlestick pattern to get long, right? But if you were to do this, right, chances are you don't have really many opportunities, right? You can look back and see how many times the market does retest, right? How about this? The market didn't retest back this highs. This one over here, right? hardly retests. This one also, it hardly retests back towards the previous resistance turn support. I would say the only one that did is possibly this level over here, right? This resistance that turns support, right? And if you miss this move, right, then this entire up move, right, you would be on the sidelines. Okay, so I want to share with you a way on how to go about, getting into this type of move, right? So firstly, right, I mentioned that you can trade off the inside bar on the daily time frame to get on board this move. If you're not sure what this is, I did a video on my YouTube page or on my website. Just search inside bar trading, and you'll know that this type of move, right, the inside bar can be useful to get on board the trade. Alternatively, right, you can go down to a lower time frame and look for trading setup, right? So in this case, you can go down to the 1 hour time frame. Let's zoom out a little, right? Okay, so you can see that on the 1 hour time frame, you have your own set of structure, support, resistance. Like for example, this one over here, this one over here, this one over here, right? You can see that you have your own set of structure, support, resistance that you can trade off. Okay, so in this case, right, what I'm seeing is that there was actually potential setup when it retested back the previous resistance, turn support, right? So this are couple of ways that you can get on board the trade. Alternatively, right, instead of using the 1 hour time frame, you can go down to the 4 hour time frame, and you would also see opportunities to trade this, right? But this time around is in the form of moving average, right? The 20 period moving average. Let's change this to rate, and you can see that the market, right, comes back to retest the 20 period moving average here and here. All right, so you got to to think about this, right? So you might be wondering, so Rainer, which one is the better approach, right? Is it the 1 hour, structure, support, resistance, or the 4 hour, using the moving average? And the answer to this is there is no best approach, right? It really depends on the market structure that you are trading right now. I won't say one is better than the other, right? I won't say there's only one way to do so, right? It really depends on how you interpret the market structure, and more importantly, right, where can you place a logical stop loss? Okay, let me repeat, right? It really depends on how the market structure unfolds, because in different market conditions, right, one type of setup on the lower time frame would be more favorable than the other. All right, so let's say for example in this case you want to trade off the 4 hour time frame, right? The key question is where would you want to put your stop loss, right? You can put it a buffer below this low for the recent trade. All right, or if this you went long on this retest of the 20 period moving average, you can set it based on a buffer using the 20 period moving average as your stop loss. So again, right, as a discretionary trader, you are always faced with issues regarding entries, stop loss, and your exits, right? So my take is that there is really no best time frame to trade off, right? It really depends, right, on where you can actually get an entry that can define your risk, right? This is important, right? If you can't define your risk, right, then there is no trade. Okay, so this is how you can go about trading the Nasdaq, right? Just something for you to think about, right, when the market goes parabolic. Okay, so just a recap about today's video, right? We talked about the euro dollar, right? Bullish on this, right? Euro yen, right, forming a build up, looking bullish as well. And we talk about the Nasdaq. All right, it's a Nasdaq which is basically the strongest market right now, and it's looking bullish as well, right? The Nasdaq, you can basically go down to a lower time frame, right, like the 1 hour or 4 hour time frame to look for setup, because the daily time frame is in a parabolic move. All right, so that's all I have for you in this week's market analysis. If you have enjoyed it, right, hit the subscribe button below and like it, so I know that you are enjoying this video. And if any feedback, comment, just let me know and I'll get back to you. With that, I wish you good luck and good trading. I'll talk to you soon.